How many bites do you have?
I can count one on either side of either foot.
Wow.
So like, where your ankle is, the bumps. I have smaller than those.
You're all mutated.
I'm slowly becoming that girl from the TikTok with the lumpy arm.
Ew. Yeah, I have one on my right side. It's like in my armpit almost.
Eesh.
And then another one like by my shoulder blade. And then on the other side, on the left, I have one on my fucking thigh. And I feel like I have one on my toe right now. It's weird living by mosquitoes again.
They call California the Golden State because it's piss. Welcome to the SuperBetterCast, when we get ate by mosquitoes.
10 out of 10, don't fucking recommend.
It's not even itchy on the bump. It's like itchy around.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off.
Like,
that's why I put the cream everywhere.
Yeah, I put the juice, and it's itchy where the juice dripped. So it's like it took the itch off and then like
moved it.
Bleh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you reapply it before I sleep.
Okay.
When you put it on, it like stings because I've been scratching them too much.
Ugh. This is why I prefer to just use a match. You strike a match, let it burn for a sec, you put it out, and then you just touch it to the burn and gone. Problem solved.
Because you're killing your fucking nerves, you freak.
And you don't have to freaking deal with it. It's the same thing as being driven mad. So would you rather be driven mad by a freaking hellish creature injecting you with a poison, or would you rather just a tiny little freaking piece of your skin, and you don't gotta worry about that shit no more?
Okay, so like
They told me I was crazy.
I know our skin like regenerates. It's like on a cycle. So like, we're constantly losing dead like skin cells.
Yeah.
And it's being replaced. What about your nerves?
They heal. They heal until you hit them too hard. Yeah, like those dead parts of my body, I can't feel them anymore.
Like this one?
It didn't feel it, dude. You should have heard the ring, but nothing happened.
I hit him with a 2x4.
Yep. Right on the frickin' penis.
Ow.
Laying it flat on the table, I'm just trying to frickin' roll it out, dude.
So I've been watching the extended editions of Lord of the Rings, and I noticed that Gimli is constantly hitting orcs in the fucking sack. Because he's small. And I was like, this is really weird. Do orcs fuck?
I actually watched a video on that on a reputable website. There was a dude. It just came up in YouTube Shorts. It was like, how do orcs reproduce in Lord of the Rings? And he was like, is this a freaking male orc? How do you know? You just assume that they're male because they appear masculine.
And they're all gravelly and nasty.
What does a female orc look like?
Well, I guess that's the same issue with the dwarves.
You just assume there isn't any.
Yeah.
But who's to say that they are and are not female? They're not human. Why would they be all dainty and pretty?
That's still gross.
Okay.
They eat, they get hungry.
There are no female orcs in the Shadow of War games because all of those orcs, I think they call each other he. So Uruks are all male.
That one I buy. Uruks are bred specifically for war, so... Yeah, okay, so like, you guys know Lord of the Rings is long as fuck.
There's a lot of cool shit in it.
The original, like, runtime is like 9 hours. Watching the extended editions puts
9 hours?
Extended edition puts it to almost 13.
12? Yeah. I was going to say, because you added an extra hour to each of those movies.
Yeah, an hour and change sometimes. And there's a lot of shit in there that I'm like, I get why they cut it, but I'm so fucking happy that these editions exist. Because there's so much like character depth and stuff and lore that's in there and just funny shit.
A lot of times when you're making a movie, from my understanding, I swear to God I heard somebody say this, but you would film scenes that would end up like, this is never going to end up in the movie.
Yeah.
But it's for the characters.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
It's to keep things like familiar between these characters or whatever.
Well, it was like original Suicide Squad. They filmed all that shit and then realized Jared Leto was annoying, and so they just cut it out, and he got all fucking butthurt.
Well, I'm just a weirdo sex cultist.
Ugh.
I was gonna say something else a while ago. I think it was about Lord of the Rings.
What was your opinion of Lord of the Rings growing up?
I thought that shit was freaking lit. No, the only reason I didn't like Lord of the Rings is because I had gigantic freaking hair when I was a little boy. I looked exactly like Frodo.
Aww.
And I got called Frodo a lot.
Aww.
And I walked around barefoot everywhere. I was Frodo because I was Frodo, and I didn't like it because I got called Frodo.
Your big ass feet.
I ate a lot of food. I went, Gandalf!
You wouldn't blink. There's jokes about that between the cast. How like Elijah Wood never fucking blinked.
Elijah Wood died at the age of 12, and he's been possessed by a puppeteer ghost ever since.
Remember when he showed up in Spy Kids?
Yeah, he was the guy, and he was only in it for like 4 seconds, which I thought was weird.
It was fucking awesome.
I remembered what I wanted to say about Lord of the Rings. Nobody talks about how Gimli just walks up to the ring and tries to hit it. He's not tempted by it at all. He's like, oh shit!
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And somebody responded with, well, why would he show any weakness in front of the knife ears? And I said, you know what? Yeah.
It's true.
He was totally tempted by the ring,
Yeah.
but he's not gonna show it.
He won't.
His dwarven pride goes too deep, dude.
Well, I was dying because in when they're in the mines of Moria, and they need to throw out like the hobbits. He's like, nobody tosses a dwarf, and so he does a big jump across like the chasm. Yeah. And so then when they're in Helm's Deep, they're sneaking out. Him and Aragorn are sneaking out to fuck up some orcs and buy the king more time, the Rohan king. And he's like, Aragorn's like all awkward. He's like, it's quite a distance. And you see Gimli like, and he looks away and kind of like under his breath, he's like, toss me. And he's like, what? And he's like, toss me. Just don't tell the elf.
Aragorn throws him?
Aragorn throws his little
No, he
ass.
does
Yeah,
not.
he does, one-handed.
Oh my god, bullshit.
Well, he's descended, like, he's a man, right? But he's descended from a line that is blessed with, like, a long life and strength. It's because, I don't know. It's
hold on. They have strength too?
Well, his particular
Yes.
breed
yes,
of man.
Yes. His like strain of dick it has strength. Mm-hmm. Okay, then
And
fine,
he's like
whatever.
the last of his line or whatever, so.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
He don't end up boinking nobody neither.
Yes, he does.
Oh, okay. Well, then he passed it on. That's something that when I was a kid, I heard this distressingly often that so many people are getting married outside their own race at church. By the way, so many people are getting married outside their own race that soon the races won't be pure anymore. And just because it was like they put a timer on something, and I was a child, I was like, oh shit, what are we gonna do without pure races? And I look back on that now for every reason, and I say, huh. I say, huh, said I, to baby me.
But it's my fault that you left the church.
We're not supposed to mix the freaking races.
There's this black and yellow moth outside, and one of our roommates was like, come look at this. And so I came
Oh, yeah,
over.
we moved.
Oh, yeah. Well, we already discussed that.
Yeah, I know, I just wanted to...
Yeah, we live with a shit ton of people now.
Just like millennials.
But he was like, I'm going to go get some Pedialyte. And then he opened the door and he's like, come look at this. So I look, and I was like, why are you yellow? Because it was like a black and yellow moth. And he's just like, he could ask you the same thing. And I was just
How do you
like,
do this impression?
It's fun. Oh.
Yeah, don't sleep on that part.
But yeah, we live with a bunch of Asians.
Yeah,
So
it's
that made
a
it more
nightmare.
funny. It's not a nightmare.
I was thinking about how much...
The nightmare is that there's no fucking beans in this house. No Mexican spices, nothing.
No, there's some.
There was no fucking caldo.
Yeah. Well,
That's why my beans sucked.
there's no cloves either.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't remember what I was going to say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead and draw a dick. Whoa. Okay, let me try. That's not a bad penis.
How do you round it out? Hold on.
Okay, let me try. Shut up. I gotta draw a dick. Whoa.
Look like a guitar.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what my wiener looks like. It's all stringy and weird.
Nobody can see what the fuck I'm talking about.
Whatever, we're getting better at drawing wee-wees with our voices.
Oh, shit.
You ever think about how, like, we don't understand a lot of things about, like, the world? So we're like, oh, we call sound waves, but if, like, aliens came down, they were just like, we call those chunks.
Yeah, chunks.
It's like,
And we can see them.
yeah. It's like, what? What do they look like? Chunks.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I told you about that one single post that it was, like, cats and dogs hear at different frequencies than we do.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, dog whistles and stuff exist.
Yeah.
But for plants scream and communicate at a certain frequency, and it falls in the same range that dogs and cats can hear. And so, it's like, oh, is that why, like, cats eat plants? Because they're like, shut the fuck up!
Yeah, I was gonna say, cats are sadistic then, because all they ever do is chew on plants.
I also saw this image.
Scream for me.
I also saw this image today. It was like a wind chime, and then this fucking plant, like, it was like outside, right?
Yeah.
From the valance or whatever, like the arch, this one vine was just grabbing the fucking the shit out of the wind chime.
Stop.
And the text was like, shut up. It's so fucking funny.
You reminded me of a freak bait. Are you familiar with freak bait?
No.
He makes those videos probably elsewhere, but I see them on YouTube where it's like, today's mission, wipe somebody's ass at the urinal. Like, he's just like, do some goofy shit to confuse somebody, like, as a prank. They're like harmless pranks.
That last one didn't sound fun.
Well, he didn't say that one. I couldn't think of anything.
Now you told me.
I would keep getting them, and I was just like, okay, these are freaking funny. Let me go down the list. I went to his channel and I watched all of them, and almost all of them were things I do on the regular. Like, one of them was like,
Just stand behind somebody and don't move until they turn around and notice you.
I don't do that on purpose. I'm just creepy. I don't mean to be.
No, shut up.
Like, one of them is like, in a group, grab somebody, pull them aside, like you have to tell them a secret and see how far you can walk away with them. Or, like, tell somebody a story about your life and see how long you can go describing the plot of a popular movie. And I'm just like, I do this shit all the freaking time. If I were to just log this, it'd be an internet sensation.
Oh, fuck, that's so funny.
Oh, my ass.
Now I need to see these videos so I can be like, that's you, that's you.
Like, the one that I saw most recently was, like, just while you're talking to somebody, see how close you can get to their face without them noticing. And I was like, oh, my. I did that one today.
It's funny because, like, I've been with you for so long that, like, you'll do weird shit. Like, you'll just start clapping and, like, pulling my face like this or whatever.
While you're talking.
And I'll just keep talking.
Yeah, and then your brother will come and just like, what do you, stop.
I'm like, no, it's just normal.
God bless, no disrespect, but I'm discovering how much of a normie he is.
It's weird.
Like, I was like, okay, I don't want to bother you, but I really want to frickin' I just want to unsettle you.
Yeah, well, it's like, it's strange. Like, you've turned me into a weirdo. And I've always been kind of a weirdo anyway, but, like, we're, like, mega fucking weirdos, and he can't handle it.
Like, if I were to start, like, eating ramen with my feet, like I just like grab the chopsticks and start trying to work it with my feet and actually try to eat like that, you would look and just be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I'd
But
go back to what I was doing, but he'd be like, "Fucking stop!"
He'd walk in and be offended.
Yeah, well, because, like, when he went out there to smoke, he was like, so why is it that roommate A, is fixated this week on me being Dexter from Dexter's Lab and they're Dee Dee? And I was like, does it actually bother you? Or does it just annoy you? He goes, it annoys me.
Then
like,
he is Dexter.
Yeah,
He's getting irritated by Dee Dee.
He's like, I can't handle the both of you. And by both of you, it's like you and roommate A.
I know, but
And
like,
that's
what's the freaking
I'm like, just do what I do,
problem?
dude. Like, it's just fucking funny.
I fully understand. I'm not gonna break out the book because this is fun times. But I understand like the processes that go on that would make him frustrated. But like on the outside, I'm just like, come on, it's a party.
Yeah, he's always like, it's just nonsense. I'm like, it's not. If you roll with it, it goes somewhere. It's not anywhere valuable, but it goes somewhere.
Like, okay, it's just every time he comes out, it's gonna be like, the structural integrity of these buildings is pretty good. I really like the central beam.
Yeah. Well, like when roommate A came out earlier, and like, I think he went to go poop or something finally. But
It's been weeks.
last time you shit was in the back of the U-Haul.
Yeah.
Fucking, they were just saying some stuff, and I finally turned and looked at him, and I was like, dude, have you ever taken an improv class? I feel like you'd run it, you'd fucking like rock that shit. And he was like, no, I'd probably just go in there and say some like stuff that would get me in trouble. And I was like, what? He's like, I'm gonna go in there and tell him that my name is Tyrone and that this other person called me the N-word, and then I'll just leave. He's like, they can't deny me. What's the rule? I was like, yes, and.
Well, here's the thing about that. Is like
I think that's funny.
the form and no disrespect, not to diminish the improv, because I'm freaking ass at improv. I'm so freaking awful at improv. Like, I'm just not freaking funny.
I think you overthink it, love.
That's the problem. I can't not. He's like, okay, let's do the same exercise we do every time I say this. I'm just gonna say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Hey, look at me driving a truck.
Where did you get your fucking CDL license? It's orange? Mm-hmm. Full of oranges or like sunset orange? Like, did you paint the truck yourself?
It's purple.
Why is it purple now? Those colors don't go together. That's like the Lakers uniform. Nobody wants that shit.
I want to transform it.
Oh shit! I didn't know it did this.
Dude, now it's the forklift from the end of Aliens.
Let's go destroy the president.
I'm gonna shoot a Nerf gun at the White House. I don't know what to freaking do. I don't get it. I'm just saying things. Thanks for going with it. But it's hard.
I like it.
Oh, right. What I was saying is that like the formula for improv that he uses, and that's why it melds so well with like that's why I'm able to just play into it. It's from Oni Plays.
Ah.
Because they do it on Smiling Friends too. Zach will just be like, "Yeah, dude, I just want to talk about the last time you came over to my house. How you kept like stealing silverware and putting it in your bag. You thought I wouldn't notice." Like, you just like make some bullshit up and just like accuse somebody of something.
Oh, I had a party and I was really, really low on forks.
Yeah, but you kept making mention of like a cannon and like trying to guilt me into giving you my silverware for your cannon.
Yeah, well, like I said, I was throwing a party and I was low on forks, and we needed forks for the cannon because I was going to do this neat magic trick that I learned on CNN.
Okay.
You know about CNN.
Like, okay. That's what I'm talking about, though, where it's like you just start accusing somebody of something, they go with it.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like that's like it's an Oni Plays kind of thing, and it's like I said, not to diminish the value of the humor, but like
it's familiar for you.
It's familiar. I can't freaking work outside of that. I don't have like my parents beat the shit out of me growing up. I didn't have freaking friends. It was weird.
I thought you had that raccoon that lived under your fucking bed.
Real quick, did I tell you about that time I thought there was a raccoon? Okay, so it was at my father's house. I thought there was a raccoon because we had the water heater thing, right? Big cylinder. I thought there was a raccoon in there because the door was loose.
Yeah.
So I thought a raccoon got in there, and I just heard like thumping and rattling. And my first thought was like, there's no way a dude could fit in there. It's got to be an animal. It's probably a raccoon. So I go to my father, and I'm like, hey, there's a bunch of thumping outside of my room. And he looks like I see his face kind of change to like are you freaking kidding me? And like, it then present the idea of, you think it's like a raccoon or something in the boiler? And he just looks at me like I'm stupid. He's like, I don't know. And his face never left my mind, because it's like, I bring to him this concern. I'm hearing noises outside of my room. Mm-hmm. And he looks at me like I'm a freaking coward. I'm like, freaking what?
Sorry, let me take my blankie outside and fucking throttle them.
Well, I mean, whatever. But like, you don't want to know about shit that's happening to the house you bought?
No.
If that's a loose pipe, don't you want that fixed before it bursts and
no, you're pathetic.
Rots half the house? Or even then, if it was a dude, right? If I came up to him and I'm like, I'm scared there's a man. Okay.
You're being ridiculous.
I have a gun.
There's no people. People don't exist. Shut up.
Yeah, that's it too. It's like, yeah, I guess nobody ever broke into a house before. I'm being ridiculous. I'm so sorry. I didn't grow up across the street from cartel guys. I'm just being paranoid.
What do you mean?
Watch to be heading in the front yard. Nah, don't worry about it.
Nah.
That wasn't a core memory. That's not the reason why I keep my head on a swivel when going outside in the daytime.
You're just... that fucking noise.
That is the noise, isn't it? I totally do it too. It's the Mexican dad noise.
It's like, I'll be like, hey, I'm really cozy. Can you go get me this color of ribbon? And you're like, oh.
It's I don't do the growl. I just go,
yeah.
but I totally do the smack.
Yeah, you do the smack.
I do the younger version. Like you got like that older anime character. He's like, I really like women and beer. And then you got the younger guy, and he's like, oh man, I really like women and beer. Except instead of women and beer, he's like, oh, I'm scared of girls, but I'll drink.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a father.
Sorry, I just started staring at you and I got really happy.
I had a flashback? Let's call it a memory, not a flashback. Okay, so I had this memory of when Young Ya came out about... he came out to the world about how he's doing Kiryu. Mm-hmm. He came out. You got really freaking upset about his performance.
Yeah.
I've said my piece. But you just kept trying to throw Kiryu stuff into my lap. You're like, how would you do it? And then like you saw or you heard his performance of Judgment in the karaoke bar. And you were like, oh, that sounds shitty. How would you do it? It's just like, if I was playing the freaking character, I'd do it in character. What do you mean? Do you want me to just dub Kiryu?
Do it for me.
I really miss you. I miss you.
That would at least be some fucking form of acting. Sorry.
Have you heard the old Kiryu dub guy? Like the original one?
I might have.
He's like freaking crazy.
Can you?
You want the juice?
I need the juice.
All right.
Sorry, bud.
I'll tell you about the original guy who dubbed Kiryu. He's like some white guy.
Yeah. Ow! It stings.
Well, you shouldn't have opened holes. Like there's visible holes here. Breathe. There's visible holes that you put. This like isn't even safe to use on anybody else now because it's got your blood on it.
Itchy. Go on.
I put it on my freaking foot, so now I'm just gonna start reading books and using glasses.
What the fuck?
So it's gonna spread like an epidemic. I'm gonna sneeze on your brother, and he's just gonna be like. If you asked me to do an impression of you, I would have no idea what to do. I would arch my back really hard, squat all the way down, and say, Diet Coke. Ew. I have no clue how to do an impression of you.
Could you do an impression of me while I'm high?
Then you just be like, I cannot access that.
Literally
part of my
clapping
voice.
with my feet.
You have not done that.
I fucking basically was the other day.
Basically, okay. I basically freaking.
Anyway, what were you saying about Kiryu?
Hold on, what are you called when you jump out of a building, out of a plane?
Suicide?
No, the other one.
Sky
time. What did I call it? Jump shift.
Sky high.
Oh, that movie was great.
I actually did end up watching it like one summer when you don't have a choice,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, "This is okay."
That's how you watch Disney movies, and not the
Like
not the
at-
ones that they make themselves.
At
That's how you watch.
metaphorical gunpoint.
That
It's
is
either this or fucking MTV fucking realities.
Yes, the only way to watch a Disney Channel movie is when you don't have a choice. Mm-hmm. That is the only way you can do it.
Because who the fuck goes out of their way to watch, like...
Lemonade Mouth, Food Boy. Those are just two off the top of my head. Who wants to watch that shit? Yet another movie about a talking dog who saves a family from the Midwest
Dog with a blog?
because of Winn-Dixie? I don't know if that was a Disney movie.
A Dog's Promise?
What?
A Dog's Journey? I didn't know that
Dog
was...
with a blog? Oh, you already said that.
It all comes back to him.
He was at the center of it all, dude. That's what his blog was about.
About 9/11.
It was an alt-right conspiracy.
That'd be funny as fuck.
Trying to save traditional American values at the end of every episode. He's like, and make America great again.
Dog with a blog is a fucking conspiracy theorist. He fucking hates soy. He listens to Alex Jones.
I like how that's the thing. That's the criteria for being a conspiracy theorist. Is you have to hate soy and like Alex Jones. When like every conspiracy theorist I've ever talked to hates Alex Jones and doesn't give a shit about soy. Those are the two specific things. I also don't know what alt-right means. It's just like a buzzword that I think is funny, so I say it's when somebody's being racist.
That's pretty accurate.
Okay.
I'm too tired to explain it right now, but
Okay.
you're on the right track.
Okay, that's fine. Did I tell you about the time that I was in 6th grade and they made us do a PowerPoint? Because that's an important lifelong skill. And I did mine on Martin Luther King Jr. And I didn't do any work on it. I just picked the frickin' guy.
It's just pictures of him.
I won. And I didn't know at the time. I didn't notice. But it was a picture of Martin Luther King Jr. with an MS Paint like circle over his mouth, photoshopped over Adolf Hitler saluting. I did not know.
Google was different back then.
Oh boy, was it. I remember I looked up, like, I wanted to find some Ninja Turtles shit, and they had Safe Search, because it was school computers. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. So they had Safe Search on, and I scrolled the mouse wheel down frickin' once and found frickin' Smurfette hentai.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? This is now burned into my memory forever. Why is this? It's Ninja Turtles. These are not related even slightly.
Fucking Wild West back then, man.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You could look up blue waffle on fucking the school computer.
And it would show up, but now all you get are blueberry waffles and actual blue waffles.
Oh, fuck.
I remember when somebody told me about blue waffle, they were like, don't look it up. And from that day on, that has been one of the most annoying freaking things that anybody has ever done, is they're just like, oh, don't trust that. Don't look that up. That'll scar you for life.
I get more annoyed at the version of that where they're like, oh no, don't get attached to blank character.
Oh, yeah, well, that's
it's like,
just
get
shitty.
the fuck out of here.
That's universally shitty, because if you tell somebody, like, if I was like, hey, don't get attached to Kiki from the Art of Mashing, wink, then
What?
that tells you. Really hope you don't die.
I have to make it to the next recording so nobody thinks you did it.
Let's do it tomorrow. Oh my god. Stop farting.
I was picking up.
This is gonna be a freaking collapse just under your own freaking gases.
We can't open the windows because it's like 90 degrees still.
Oh, what a horrible. Was I even talking about? Oh yeah, the whole thing about. Don't try and sniff it.
I'm breathing. I was laughing too hard.
Okay. It's like that whole thing. It was like like, oh, don't get attached to character because it tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Either they're gonna leave or they're gonna die. Like they're just not gonna be a part of the show.
Why can't the oh, you don't get why can't it be like they committed genocide or something? Why can't it be anything like
And
interesting, a conflict?
Just don't do that. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
But like, if I were like the opposite of like, oh, don't look that up, is like, well, some people might just be like, okay, I'm not gonna look it up. I don't know what a blue waffle is. It's just annoying. It's annoying for somebody to be like, hey, well, don't do that. Don't do that thing. Ooh, like
What if I shit on the floor?
hilarious. Somebody was like, don't look up.
2 girls, 1 cup.
They were just showing people that shit.
Yeah.
It was another time shock videos were freaking traded around like a currency.
It was weird.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you remember like a little while ago when everybody was like drawing that anime girl with the pigtails,
No.
the glasses?
No.
She's the girl from Metamorphosis.
No.
It was a whole episode of New Vegas dedicated to me explaining the plot
Oh, yeah.
while my mother was listening.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fucked up.
Anyway, people would like post like the first panel with her where she's just like kind of standing there and she just looks like, you know, your average girl. And they would be like, oh, wonder who this character is. What's she from? Don't look it up. And it was just like, there's literally nothing that you could draw that would be worse than the ills of mankind. I've been stabbed before.
It's... I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just annoying.
It is. That's what I'm
Annoying
saying.
is the good word.
And I had to like reverse image search that shit. I had to reverse image search that shit too, because nobody put the name anywhere because they were like, "Don't look it up." No, you don't want to know. Somebody even asked like, "What's she from?" And somebody was like, "You don't want to know."
I see that a lot on Facebook where like
Facebook, damn.
well, no, the somebody will play a clip from something and you end up watching like half of a movie without realizing it. But
I remember somebody, it was way back in the day when meme pages were a big thing on Facebook. They were just like, the B movie. And I was sitting there watching it, and I got all the way to the lawsuit before I realized I was just watching the B movie in Facebook video player.
yeah, I watched the ending to Knives Out. It was like, oh no, you won't believe who did it. And I was like, huh? And like, I didn't know it was Knives Out because I'd never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the whole reveal like sequence. And then I saw one of the actors. I go, wait a minute. Oh, fuck.
Spoiled the end of a whodunit. This is amazing. I kind of had one of those today. I've been getting recommended a lot of analog horror stuff because it's kind of back on the rise. Like, I feel like its popularity has stabilized to a point where this is where...
There's some quality in there.
Well, this is where it's going to be from now on.
Okay.
But I got this really, really freaking shitty one. So there was this thing that Nickelodeon did back in the day where they were just like, oh, this big sponge bash. And it was just 3 straight days of SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like overwriting Nick at Night even.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, I got distracted. Somebody, like the horror thing is like somebody slipped their quitting thing into Sponge Bash, and like I was like, okay, that's pretty grounded. I could buy that happened. Let's take a look and see what it is. And the only thing it was like a freaking 10-minute video. 30 seconds maybe was the horror part, and it was like sprinkled throughout, and it wasn't even good. It was just like 3 different events. The first one was just like SpongeBob and Patrick in the Valentine's episode, and then SpongeBob's face is like MS painted to have an evil smile, but he's got like the straight line and then the grid teeth, and I was like, what? This is how you chose to do the horror thing? And the second one, it was just the same thing but with Patrick. And then the third one, it was when Gary likes Patrick better than SpongeBob or whatever, and then he's like, do you want fresh scents or heavy duty? And he's crying, and it just stutters, and that's it. And I was like, this is an old YTP.
See, when you said like, oh, somebody slipped their quitting thing in there, and you were like, oh, there's 3 events. I was like, okay, one of them can be like a voicemail of like the boss asking him to do some stupid shit, and it's all garbled and like
Creepy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the second one could be like, SpongeBob's trying to write his essay, but it just turns into like the resignation
That would
letter
be cool,
going
yeah.
back and forth, like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
type it out. And then the last one would be like SpongeBob's watching fucking TV or something, and it's just this fucking dude like smashing the fucking office apart or something.
Yeah.
And then the doorbell rings and it's the fucking guy with the boss's head or something. Like, I don't know, just like,
Yeah, it could be anything. You could use the medium creatively, but then it was just 3 MS Paint angry faces, and it was so freaking cartoonish because it clearly didn't belong. Like it didn't. It's not even like that shit they like to do where they just like warp a face and it looks really freaking awful, and it's just annoying. It was just like, no, this is literally MS Paint. You took it, you push Control Shift E in your video editor. You took that frame and you MS Painted over it, and then you just slapped it in there.
that's incredibly disappointing. That's 10 minutes of your life you're never getting back.
Well, I saw a second one because I was curious because
God damn it.
in parentheses it said my take, and I was like, okay, so somebody saw that and was like, this shit, and they did a way better freaking job.
Yeah.
So what they did, you remember how back in the day when you used to mute your old tube TV, after a little while you get the subtitles,
Yeah.
like in the big black bar. It was that, except it would be mixed in with the actual dialogue. It would be stuff like art is dead, Nintendo, Nickelodeon is greedy, and stuff like that. It's like somebody complaining about specific people at Nintendo, Nickelodeon.
Same thing.
Yeah. And it was really cool because it would be like
N-word. N-word company.
SpongeBob would say something like Patrick would just be like, and you know, we've been friends for a long time, and it would say like, we've been friends for a long time, and then like you'd have like half of a message after that would be like,
Schneider's a motherfucker. Like,
yeah, it would like trail off, but you could tell that like that doesn't belong there. And then like something was supposed to happen in the episode, but it just cut away, and it was just this like really creepy like hand camera footage of this like messed up, it's just like lazy ass drawing of SpongeBob.
well, that one I want to see.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was like, this isn't scary, but it's interesting.
Interesting is all you need.
That's all you need.
Like, you know how many movies I've watched where it's like, oh, it's horror, and I'm like, yeah, okay. But as long as it's interesting, I don't feel like, oh, this isn't horror.
Yeah, not like that most recent Paranormal Activity.
Oh, fuck that fucking movie.
Damn! Look at that waveform. It's an aggressive waveform. It looks like an undiscovered species.
I've been looking for it for like years at this point.
Finally
and I finally found it, and I
Couldn't
was
get
like,
3 minutes.
oh my god, this shit sucks.
So freaking awful. I didn't even sit there and watch it. I was just like, immediately, this is freaking garbage.
Because there was like a random normal ass shot, and then they went back to shaky cam, and I was like, how many fucking cameras? What? Like the whole fucking point. It gave me the new Blair Witch vibes.
Oh god.
That fucking movie sucked too.
Ugh.
But yeah, I turned that shit off.
I like if I'm gonna sit down with some long form content, it's got to be on YouTube. Like I would rather have a like carefully crafted by like one person or a small group of people than like I realize that it's not necessarily that I have a problem with long form content or structured media. It's that I don't think their formulas are creative.
Well, because there's a whole bunch of corporate motherfuckers in the way.
Yeah,
now,
the only movie that I'll sit down and watch is stuff that's like King Kong. Like I would sit through those movies, but like if you want me to watch like Oppenheimer, no, not a freaking chance. I will burn you to the ground.
But that's why I like A24, because they're basically still trying to encourage indie creators.
Even then, I'm not interested. I'm not willing to roll the dice on that. Like, I would rather take what has worked for me, and what has worked for me so far is just, like, people's creativity on YouTube.
Oh, man. Speaking of, like, long form and all that, I'll explain the trail here. So I was scrolling, and then there was, like, an advertisement for a page that I follow. It's, like, a clothing company, but they were, like...
Cloning company?
Clothing.
I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah, I'm gonna have 17 Titans.
Why are we still talking about freaking politics?
I'm gonna have tons and tons of cats in this house, and it's gonna be the same cat.
I feel like the world has changed. This has become a staple of conversation.
It's just on Instagram, you can clone your shit.
Free clone! It's Elon Musk giving a thumbs up with another Elon Musk.
Order now.
I want an Elon Musk clone. I want to slap him.
What if it was a tiny Elon Musk? Never
I'd
mind.
freaking put him in my pocket and run really hard so we would burn to death in my pocket.
It's just stuff meant to generate interaction. So it was like it put in this jar a decent horror, like an interesting horror movie that starts with the first letter of your first name or whatever. So I was like, okay, well nobody's saying anything about like K, so
K?
Kiki.
Oh.
Dumbass. And so I went on Google because I was like, the only thing that's coming to mind is Killer Clowns, but I fucking hate that movie. So I Googled it, and the first thing on the list was Kimura or something. I don't know. I'll find the actual title. But
Camera?
yeah. Wait, it's on my phone. Hold on.
It was camera.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Because I kept saying camera up in my head.
Hold on. It's loading. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's got like the Sonic colors. Fucking.
Oh, that was Sonic Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have I done to you?
Qui-Gon.
Oh. What's camera? Oh, camera. It's from Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
That's why I thought of camera.
So it's a Japanese anthology horror from 1964, and luckily it's on a streaming service that we have
Near
access
you?
to. Well, like our landlord / friend fucking has like all the streaming services, so I was like, cool. But I found it, and it's like 4 different little like contained stories. They're not related to each other whatsoever. There's no crossover. So I'm just treating them like episodes. The first one was this fucking guy, the samurai.
I'm gonna go switch the clothes.
Okay. This fucking samurai has a really nice wife, and she has really long hair, but they're poor. So he's like, fuck you, bitch, I'm leaving. And she's like, why are you leaving? Like, I'll work harder if you don't want to be poor. And he's like, no, fuck you. And he just leaves. And so he gets a position, and he gets a fancy wife. And then while he has the fancy wife, he realizes he doesn't like her because money doesn't buy happiness or whatever. And so he goes back to his old wife like years and years later. And I'm sitting on the couch like, this motherfucker, like, I don't even care what I'm watching is the correct genre anymore. I'm just irritated. Like, I want to see this fucker burn. And so he comes home and the house is fucked up. I mean, it was already fucked up, but it's like fucked up. And he goes in and his wife's there and she looks exactly the same. And I was like, this bitch a ghost.
She gotta be.
She a fucking ghost. But anyway, he's like, oh my God, I love you so much. And she's like all forgiving. And she keeps saying like kind of off stuff where he's like, what do you mean we're only here for a little while? And she's like, and then he wakes up in the morning and he looks over and that bitch is a corpse. And it's fucking cool. But it doesn't stop there. Like, he starts tripping fucking balls. Her hair goes from long and black to, like, white and ratty. The hair starts attacking him. His hair starts falling out. He's, like, bumbling around. The whole fucking house is, like, rotted beyond what he remembers.
That's cool.
He's falling in shit. Like, it's so fucking cool. And he's trying to get out. And then, like, he's aging rapidly. But they do it in such a way that, like, between shots, like, it's so subtle that you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And, like, it was a really, really cool effect. And he ends up, like, just falling in the shit outside. And it's like, and he's like a total fucking corpse. And I was like, that's cool. Fuck you, asshole.
Semi-related? You know those AI channels that like they'll like describe the plot of a movie poorly?
Yeah, it's just literally just like a weird summary, but yeah.
I got one for a foreign movie that was like, this man fought for the princess's hand in marriage, and he fought this guy, and it didn't go well for him. And then he fell down on his bum. And it just like described everything freaking just play by play. And then that guy ended up winning, right? The main character ended up winning. And he's like, yeah, he gets to marry the princess. And then he was like, and then he saw the princess and found that she was a monster. And it was supposed to be that like he fought for the princess. He got to marry her. He got the right to marry her. But he caught a glimpse of her before the wedding. and he didn't like the way she looked, so he ran away, and they went to kill him. But when the guy said she's a monster, it showed her face, and it's just like she has like a birthmark on her face. It doesn't
That's
even.
fucked
It's not
up.
even. The funniest thing, it's not even as like. It's
like a mole.
It doesn't even touch the freaking girl from Ready Player One,
Yeah.
where they like talk about her like she's some kind of ugly freak, some kind of horrible monster, and then you look at her and you're like, does she have makeup on her face that's like supposed to be something? Is like one part of her cheek is slightly darker than not even that freaking bad. It's not even that bad. So it's like he called her a monster, like bro.
Yeah. Oh my god. One more thing I forgot to mention about the first part of the anthology, because I haven't watched the rest, is his like rich wife. She fucking opens her mouth and smiles, and her teeth are just fucking black. They look like they smeared fucking tar on them.
That was the thing though.
Was it?
Yeah, I swear that was a thing for like high society women. Like they would their teeth would be black.
That's fucking gross.
It's temporary, but it's still gross, yeah.
Yeah. He's like asleep because he doesn't want to be with her. And so she goes and like pats his head and tries to lean in to kiss him. And he wakes up and like pushes her away and then goes back to sleep. So she's like bitch slaps him a couple times with her fan. She's like, fuck you, asshole.
He's just like a freaking miserable dude all around.
He was a motherfucker. I hated him. I was so happy to see that ending.
I think that's funny. You were like, he's sleeping because he doesn't want to be with her. He's like, oh god.
Well, he was like in his
I
study.
guess I should never sleep.
Yeah. Well, the scene right after that, the fucking servant lady's like, can you please go lay with your wife? And he's like, fuck you, you do it. It's your job. And she's like, please stop. He's like, I'm not going in there. I don't care if she goes back to her parents.
Why didn't he like his new wife?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I guess he was just a miserable
I mean,
bastard.
she's like a cold, spoiled bitch.
Oh.
But I don't know. It's all based on like an anthology book.
Yeah, I know from experience that that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, I want to read the book after that. Like I like Japanese horror as it is. Foreign horror is just way more interesting than normal American horror.
Yeah. Well, because like oftentimes like horror was white for so long. Mm-hmm. It was like, what is?
Those just slashers.
Yeah, it's like what. A gun solves this problem. I have a gun. Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't be afraid of that. And like, I don't know. Things have changed. I don't feel like getting into it.
Yeah. Horror is just I love horror genre. Like it's so broad.
On a semi-related note, I have a question I need you to help me out with.
What's up?
So, I don't know if I've mentioned it at all in the channel, but I freaking love stories of all kinds. And so I've been, over the years, writing some of mine. I don't think I've ever actually told you about this one. So I saw Swiss Army Man many, many years ago.
Yeah, I love that movie.
And what was it? It's not Biggie Smalls.
What?
Oh, God. I'm having a Samuel L. Jackson moment. What's the black guy who sings? He sings like, I'm gonna shit my pants. What's his name?
From the Temptations?
No! You just laid down.
What?
What's his name?
Who?
I don't remember. CeeLo Green.
You small. You know what? That one's fair.
They kind of do look like at a glance. But it was I heard this CeeLo Green song that was like, this was years ago. This was back when I was still working at that grocery store where I was biking up the freaking hills.
Fuck that place.
Oh, it was long ago. But I just happened to hear this song, and I was like, wait a minute. Is this like a narrative? Because like everybody freaking does that. It's like you can form a narrative around like a song just because of how much music is used in media. Mm-hmm. But I did this one, and I was like, what? I started to imagine this story, and I guess I'm going to give it away now so I can never make it, of this couple gets shipwrecked, and I think it was the chick had a broken leg or something, and so the dude's like doing everything. He's like building a shelter, finding water and stuff, and she just keeps saying stuff like, oh, I wish I could be more helpful. And he's like, don't even worry about it. And eventually he starts having to go further away to get more resources. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, just freaking stay here. And she's like, oh, but I want to help. He's like, freaking no, you don't have a leg right now. And she starts to get sick because,
No
she's got a
medicine.
busted leg, no medicine. And so he's like kind of panicking, trying to like get them off the island and stuff. And all she keeps saying is like, I'm sorry, I'm useless. And she ends up like following him around the island to places where it's like, how did you even get here?
I remember you telling me about this. That's fucking cool. I want that though.
Should I just go right to the end?
No, keep going.
Okay. Well, that's what I mean.
Oh.
And it like what I saw was he's like going to places and spending extended periods of time away because he's like sick of her whining and she's just like not doing anything to help. So he'll go somewhere to get some space and she'll freaking show up. And he's in a cave on a cliff edge. And she's like, at this point her leg has like been amputated or whatever. So he's like, actually, how did you freaking get here? But he's not getting a straight answer out of her. She's just like, I'm sorry, I wanted to be with you. And like at the end of the movie, at the end of the story, he ends up getting saved, and he's on a boat, and like you can see from the other people's perspective, he's got his girlfriend on his back, and she's just a rotting corpse he was carrying around the island.
That's so cool.
Like, she died from gangrene a long time ago, and he was just carrying her around, talking shit to her. I was like,
That'd be fun.
maybe I should do this.
I want it. God damn it.
Because there's a lot of ideas for, like, things that I want to do, and especially within that story in particular.
Ew, does he fuck the corpse?
No.
That'd be so cool, though. I'm interested, rather.
I just want to know how it works.
No, that's not fair.
God.
You know what? Next time, we'll be better. I'll be better.
Oh, you're ending with... Okay.
Next time I'll be better and not talk about necrophilia. I was going to say necromancy?
Okay, before we go.
What?
Okay, what was your preferred Mancy?
Charles Mancy. You think of anything else?
Yep, okay. I guess I've been alive for long enough. Next time on the SuperBetterCast. No.